Welcome everyone to the Living in Utah live stream. We hold this every Wednesday night at 8 Coast, and if you're in California time zone, you're about 7 p.m. On this particular live event, we welcome everyone to ask any kind of questions they may have about Utah, real estate, anything you want. I'm Mike Gallagher. I'm actually a local real estate agent in the state. I really love the state of Utah, so I really enjoy these live events, and I enjoy the channel altogether. I just love where I live. Today it was in the 80s. Lows are going to be in about the 60s. Got to do a little bit of golfing today. Just perfect weather. Not too hot, not cold. Just gorgeous. So I do have a couple questions that were sent to me via email over the last week, and I thought I would share them with you, help everyone out. And the first one I got was about secondary water. Basically, Mike, could you explain secondary water? Okay. I know in a lot of states, people don't have what we refer to as secondary water. It is basically water that is retained in the mountains in reservoirs, and they pump it down to your house. The intention is to use it for lawn irrigation or washing off your driveway or your house. It is unfiltered, untreated water, so it's not drinkable, things like that. Health-wise, not very good probably to drink it. And you can tell when your sprinkler systems get a little bit clogged or the filter gets clogged and you go to clean it out and you'll see the dirt and the debris, items that are traveling in the water. And I've actually seen one of the channels that come down, and it's just an open channel. So throughout the winter months when they turn it off, dirt, debris, animals, anything can get in that particular water system and come down. Speaking about that, if you are in an area that has secondary water, I would recommend that. I personally do not turn my sprinkler systems on when they first pressurize the system. I wait till all the neighbors do it. Usually most of the debris and dirt and everything is accumulated at the very beginning as it's flushed through the system. So just a little bit of maintenance tip for you. So secondary water is a great way to water your yard, flowers, vegetable garden. The cost of secondary water, it's different in all cities and counties. There are different companies throughout the Wasatch Front that manage the program. So they do it a little bit different depending on where you're at. My particular city, they include it in your property taxes. So it's not a separate bill, and it's approximately $200 for the year. And it technically, it's not metered. They don't charge you per gallon as per se. They do have meters on the line, and basically they just use a chart to show how much you've used, how much they recommend you use, and where you stand, but there's not a variation of fees with it. There are different companies throughout the valley that handle it, so the prices may vary a little bit, but it's a very economical way of watering your yard. So, secondary water. The next question I had was, actually, I was showing some people some homes, and you'll see on the MLS a lot of listings that say active, but after it says T/C. They're wondering what that is. So that's a home that is actually under contract per se, that someone has placed an offer on the home with a time clause on it. For instance, maybe they have to put their home on the market and get it sold first. So in that case, a lot of sellers will say, okay, we'll let you do that, but we're going to put a time clause in there. You have, say, 14 days to get it on the market and get it under contract. Otherwise, we're going to remove the time clause and open the home back up to anyone else who would like to purchase it. We're seeing a lot of that right now in the market since it's very hot. A lot of time clause activity going on. So if you're looking at a home that has a time clause and you look at the home and you submit an offer, your offer will be considered once the time clause has expired, if the time clause expires. So That's what active/TC means. News in Utah. So on this channel, we try to, on the live event, talk about questions people might have and some news that affects people in Utah and also events that are going on. So we're right around the corner here from the national elections. So it's been announced that there's going to be 2 venues in Utah at where you can go and vote. And that would be Vivint Arena in downtown Salt Lake, and also a lot of the megaplex theaters throughout the northern Utah area is also going to be polling stations. So hopefully that'll alleviate some of the lines we've had in the past during election time. We'll see. Speaking of elections, Utah is holding the vice presidential debate between the current vice presidents, Mike Pence and Kamala Harris. It will be held on October the 7th up at the University of Utah. So it's great the state of Utah will be holding the only vice president debate for the upcoming election, unless they add some more debates to the list. Now, last week I did talk about RSL soccer opening up to fans and everything last Wednesday. Well, the fans showed up and the players decided not to play. So that event did not take place. And there was some fallout from that. The owner was on a radio station and made some comments, and it hit the national media and the local media pretty hard. And the soccer club is currently up for sale. So if you have the funds available, we wish you would buy it and keep it in Utah, please. I enjoy going to 1 or 2 RSL games. So hopefully. Another issue that we've seen here, as the whole country has, would be COVID-19. Well, the good news is cases are down. The average has been dropping, which is a good sign, very good sign. I like to see it go away personally. But there are a number of schools reporting cases, very high number. And I have a funny feeling that some of the schools may get shut down as this continues throughout this week and next week. Not very good that the children are getting the COVID-19. Just my opinion. Okay, in the news today also was Park City Resorts. We're right around the corner from skiing season. A lot of people come out of state, so they're starting to make plans now. The good news is they do plan on opening. November the 20th is the announced date. So great news if you're coming here to ski. There are going to be some changes. There will be no walk-up tickets allowed. You have to purchase tickets in advance, and they are going to be limited. And of course, there is going to be a mask requirement. And they've also got some new rules coming out for the actual lift rides, as far as how many people can be there and family members and friends and whatnot. But the big thing would be masks, but we are opening, and also no walk-up tickets at the current moment. All this here changed very quickly, so you never know what is around the corner. So some of these rules may change, but that's the latest that we have. So a few more months and we are opening. So along the same lines, fishing, the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources is looking at changing some of the fishing regulations. There's quite a few regulations that they're looking at and they're viewing. So it has not become law yet, and they're going to meet around October the 1st to discuss some of the possible changes they're going to have. There is a long list of them. I don't think I'll go through all of them because some of them may not get changed. They may not get the votes. But anyways, if you are a local fisherman or an out-of-state fisherman, keep an eye on that. See if there's any changes that might affect you at where you particularly fish. So we had good news last week. Restaurants opening up, new restaurants. Well, 2 more restaurants have opened up. You just keep hearing around the country all these restaurants that are closing down. And I think it's remarkable. People are opening up restaurants. So we've had a few businesses open up here. I just heard on the news today that in Salt Lake County, a company called MedVet, and they do emergency veterinarian work on animals, like after-hour procedures. It's an emergency clinic. Has opened a new location in Salt Lake City. Nice big building. It's great that people are investing money during this particular time, and it looked like a multi-million-dollar facility that they've opened up in Salt Lake City. It's great to see businesses still investing. Another question has come in. Good evening. Thank you for doing this. Working in Sandy, possibly looking for homes in West Point and Layton. Would I expect to experience a high level of traffic? What are the normal rush hours there? Okay, I actually know that very well. I've actually taken that route that you are looking at taking. I would say, yeah, you're going to have rush hour at around the 7:30 to 8 a.m. time frame, Monday through Friday. And also, I personally try to be out of Salt Lake City by about 3:30. I definitely don't want to be leaving Salt Lake City at 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock time frame. So if you can find an employer that would give you maybe a 7 to 3 schedule, or 6 to 2, or 6 to 2:30, however it would add up, would be great. Would be great, because you'll have easy sailing. I know when I can hit that traffic coming out of Salt Lake at say 3:30 or before 3:30, I'm a happy camper. And same in the mornings. I try to wait to after 8:30 to go somewhere, or go earlier. You will run into some rush hour traffic. Now, the other option is, and I'd highly recommend doing this, if your employer is located anywhere near the Front Runner train station, maybe look at buying a Front Runner pass. The Front Runner is an awesome way to travel. You got Wi-Fi on there. You can sit back on the internet, read a book, leave the traffic to someone else, and you will have no traffic at all. Great. Another question. Hi, my husband and I are going to be moving there from Georgia. What should we expect from the housing market over the next few months? Well, the housing market in general across the whole United States is on fire. I don't know an area that's not. I talk to about over 200 realtors on a conference call every week, and everyone's saying the same thing. These low interest rates are driving people to buy. So there's a couple things coming up over the next couple months. We have a national election, November. That could put the brakes a little bit on the housing market. The other thing that would potentially put the brakes on the housing market would be if they do raise interest rates. And depending on how much they raise interest rates, I think if it's a small bump, it won't affect people. So if you can predict what's going to happen in the election, what's going to happen with housing, I can answer a little bit more of the question, but I don't know what's going to happen on the upcoming election. Like everyone else, it's wait and see. But the Utah housing market is very busy. The other thing over the next few months, our busiest time is normally June, July, August, when kids are out of school. So as we start getting into the November, December area, it usually does quieten down a little bit. So that is the norm every single year. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But by all means, reach out to me. And as the months go by, I can definitely help you with some of that. So we'll see how the housing market goes. Thank you for the questions. So we were talking about restaurants opening up. 2 new restaurants opening up. And the first one is out at the Ogden Airport. Now, there used to be a restaurant out there called the Auger Inn. It was a great place. A lot of the pilots knew about it. A lot of local general aviation from other cities would fly there for a hamburger. Great place to eat. I stopped out there once or twice throughout the year to have a quick bite to eat. There is a new place that has opened up there. The Auger Inn is no longer there. And the name of this business drew my attention instantly. It's called the Bickering Sisters. And at first I was thinking, I guess when I go there, I would expect 2 sisters to be sitting there bickering. But that probably wouldn't be very professional, but maybe that's how they do it. I don't know. I'm really intrigued, going to see how the food is. So it's out there at the Ogden Airport, the Bickering Systems. Put in the comments down below, would you name a business the Bickering Sisters? So very interesting. So another place that opened up called Nacho Daddy. It's in Salt Lake City. I'm very familiar with this place. I've eaten at their locations in Las Vegas. I absolutely love it. I think they've got 2 or 3 locations in Las Vegas. I believe that's where they started. They have now opened a Salt Lake City location at 241 West, 200 South in Salt Lake City. And I'm assuming it's going to be the exact same as the Las Vegas one. And great. They do a variety of nachos and put different things on them. I've had a Cajun one and can't remember some of the others that we've had, but it's yeah, it's a great place to eat. So that another place that was opening up, Nacho Daddy. It's well worth giving it a shot. So another place that's opening up as we are starting to get into the Halloween season. So in Salt Lake City, there is a haunted house called Nightmare on 13th. It's been there for many years. They have announced that they will open this year, and they are mandatory masks and stuff like that. But it's great to see that they're still going. It is a very, very popular place in Salt Lake City for haunted house at Thanksgiving time. Great place to visit. So they are opening. They've actually, it's kind of interesting, this company, because it goes back many years. I remember in Salt Lake for many years. They have been through a few different tragedies that the country has had. I remember during 9/11, shortly after 9/11, they made a decision to open up then. So they seem to get hit by a few different things. And same with the Olympics. I remember when they opened up for the Olympics, and it was a lot of tensions were on all the venues for the Olympics and not so much the haunted houses. But it's great to see businesses opening up, keep the economy going. So that is a lot of what I've got for this week. And we don't have any more questions. So I think we are going to call it an evening. I hope everyone out there will take care and stay safe. And by all means, if you have any other questions, you're welcome to email me. I thank you for your time.